Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Let's talk about it. A lot of the Charlo fangirls are hyped up right now. Jermall finally, after 12 years as a pro, finally got his most significant win. A guy coming off a loss who's never won a world title in Sergey Deryevchenko. Finally a significant win in a fight where he showed that he's a good fighter, Jermall Charlo, but he didn't exactly make no statements. It wasn't a dominant performance. It wasn't a star-making performance. It wasn't even an entrance into the pound-for-pound list, top 10. Sorry, but winning a close decision where the result was arguably a draw doesn't get you into a pound-for-pound contention type status by barely beating a Sergey Deryevchenko. So now Charlo fangirls are talking a lot of shit, trying to say Canelo's ducking when Canelo will knock these chumps out on the same night if Canelo was given the chance. Look, your boy's already turned down the fight. Alright? He was already offered the fight last year, for May of last year, when Canelo was looking for an opponent for that time frame. Ended up being Danny Jacobs, but he was not on top of the Canelo Alvarez list of opponents. They expressed more interest in a Jermall Charlo fight, sensing that it was a fight that was even bigger than a Danny Jacobs fight, since Jermall Charlo does have a passionate fan base in Houston who ride and die with him, who thinks he's the goods and thinks he's the man that can dethrone Canelo at middleweight, super middleweight divisions. But Charlo already rejected the offer. Well, at least his team did. But the fight can still be made in the future. Depends what's going to happen with Canelo's status with DAZN and Golden Boy. I sensed a deal will be worked out for that contract to continue, but under different terms. But yeah, I do want to see the fight. But the Charlo fangirls need to stop the hating and all this nonsense talk that Canelo would duck. Look, Canelo ain't scared of the Charlo brothers, bro. Look, the Charlo brothers, Jermall's a good fighter. He's not a great fighter, but he's a good fighter, and he's a worthy contender to fight a Canelo. And it will be a good fight. It will be an entertaining fight. There'll be Charlo fans will think that, there will be some Charlo fans that would, put on the house that think that he would beat Canelo. But after watching him struggle with Deryevchenko, he does have some tools. That fight can only make him better. But if Deryevchenko can get inside, then you best believe Canelo can offset that range as well, offset that long jab. And he likes to stay in the pocket, which is tailor-made for Canelo. Canelo would knock Jermall Charlo out, but it's a fight I would like to see. He would do even easier work against Jermall, but Jermall still has some. He still has to prove himself. I mean, even though he's a unified champion, beating a Rosario who beat a fluke champion in J-Rock and just making the very first defense of his titles doesn't really warrant that Jermall Charlo is the king of the division. There's plenty of guys who I considered a couple of guys who I consider a lot better than Rosario in the 154-pound weight class. Shit, maybe even an aging Erizlandi Lara could be argued that he's a more suitable opponent, a more dangerous opponent, style-wise, for Jermall Charlo. A Jarrett Hurd, it's still out there. A big junior middleweight who can punch and can take a punch. There's also Brian Castano. So the Charlo brothers, congrats to them on finally getting a significant win. The pay-per-view didn't do great numbers, but that was expected. So hopefully they can keep the momentum going and fight more recognized opponents than what they've been giving us for the past 12 years of their pro career. Prior to this, Jermall Charlo's biggest win was a chinny Tony Harrison, a fight that he was losing. Jermall's biggest win was a chinny J-Rock. So, these guys have some work to do. They're the same age as Canelo, and Canelo is just much superior in terms of not only resume, but talent, boxing skills. And you'll see in the ring if Jermall ever gets in the ring with Canelo. Canelo will knock Jermall Charlo's ass out. But it's definitely granted a fight I would like to see. And hopefully it can happen sometime next year. If Jermall is telling the truth, he says he's going to fight one more fight. I'm not sure how possible that is. But hopefully it's a fight against Chris Eubank Jr. next for Jermall Charlo. Keep the momentum going. Solid outing against Deryevchenko. It was a close fight, but you could argue that he won. But you could also argue a draw. But yeah, Jermall Charlo already ducked Canelo. Will he duck again if given another opportunity to fight the king of the middleweights, Canelo Alvarez? This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.